In the early 1970s, the intelligence services weren't just involved in assassination in Northern Ireland. They were also infiltrating the terrorist networks.
MI6 has been involved in what are known as disruptive operations. One of the techniques that they use is to put one group against another to disrupt what they're involved in.
Of course, the whole idea is to try and create as much confusion as possible so that people are not quite sure what to believe.
You set people very discreetly against one another.
Right.
They destroy each other.
Right. They do.
You don't destroy them. What a pity that so-and-so is so indiscreet. Not much more. Of course, there are much more sophisticated operations than that, but that's roughly the sort of thing.
What kind of sophisticated operations?
Ah, that I couldn't possibly tell you.
What we do know is that the key to disruptive action is to work from the inside.
MI6 placed a number of agents within Ireland and the North with the idea of infiltrating the IRA.
And that infiltration goes higher and deeper than you would think.
British intelligence has been very strong in Northern Ireland. There is no question that the IRA and possibly Sinn Féin as well has been infiltrated, possibly almost right up to its senior levels.
Osama bin Laden was an ally of the United States. He was killing Soviet soldiers. That's what we wanted.
Jean-Charles Brissard. He investigated al-Qaeda's finances for the French intelligence service well before 9/11, and he's been following the relationship between bin Laden and Saudi Arabia, especially with his mentor, Prince Turki, ever since.
He was helped by the kingdom, and this support lasted for years. So Turkey, for instance, was the one who met regularly with bin Laden in Afghanistan. Oh, until very recently, until '98, I think the last time, for at least 3 or 4 times, who sent him checks, full suitcases of money, trucks. All that suggests that he was clearly supported by the Saudi government itself.
The Saudis deny it ever happened. But according to investigator Jean-Charles Brissard, French intelligence reports confirm that a meeting did indeed take place in Paris in 1996. Osama bin Laden himself didn't come, but a senior representative did. Also in attendance, bin Laden's old mentor, Saudi Prince Turki, a bin Laden family member, and a number of bankers. According to Brissard, one of those who came to this Paris hotel for that meeting was none other than bin Laden's brother-in-law, Khalid bin Mahfouz, the same man who once financially supported George W. Bush, now negotiating payoffs to Osama bin Laden. And support came from the bin Laden family as well. They publicly proclaimed they'd disowned Osama, but privately, Brissard says, they sent him equipment and money.
A company like the Saudi bin Laden Group is providing all the tools to Osama bin Laden to build a road or an airport in Sudan. Yes, they're clearly financial backers of Osama bin Laden, yeah.
So how much in all did the Saudis contribute to al-Qaeda? Estimates are that before 9/11, bin Laden spent about $50 million a year, the vast majority of them from Saudi Arabia.
What exactly is that?
That's one of the documents that were recently seized by our team in Afghanistan, signed by Mullah.
From Bosnia to the Sudan and Afghanistan, Jean-Charles Brissard has discovered an al-Qaeda paper trail that he says proves what the Saudis are still denying.
This leads you to believe it's $2 million, which originates where?
Oh, it is stated that it originates from the head that is provided by Saudi Arabia.
Millions in Saudi foreign aid diverted to al-Qaeda. Financial support for terrorist training camps in Afghanistan like this one. Camps run with money funneled through a Saudi charity, funded, managed, and supervised by royal family members.
They knew everything. They were the source of fundings that went to buy arms, to buy bombs through their charities. And those charities in Saudi Arabia are all controlled by the government to some extent.
Knowing the way he felt about the U.S., knowing he had declared war essentially on all Americans, would they not also have known that by giving him money they were funding ultimately attacks against the U.S.?
Don't you think that the interest of Saudi Arabia from its perspective is more important than the U.S. interest of the U.S.? That's what we experienced. That's what we've seen in the past.
Osama bin Laden was brought up within the Wahhabi doctrine. Some members of the Saudi royal family and Saudi charities fund al-Qaeda, Hamas, and other terrorist organizations. And their clerics have reinterpreted the holy law of Islam, leading many Muslims to believe that terrorism is mandated by the Quran.
The holy law of Islam excludes terrorism in any form. It is clearly and strongly and overwhelmingly against suicide. It is a mortal sin for which there is no forgiveness. Even if a man has lived a life of unremitting virtue, if he kills himself, he forfeits paradise and goes straight to hell. Now, the Wahhabis lay down that you may commit suicide provided you take a sufficient number of the infidels with you.
1995, a bomb in Saudi Arabia kills 5 U.S. soldiers. 1996, 19 American servicemen die in another Saudi bombing at the U.S. military's Khobar Towers barracks. 1998, more than 200 perish when truck bombs devastate 2 U.S. embassies in Africa. 2000, an explosion tears apart the USS Cole. 17 American sailors are killed. Though Osama bin Laden was obviously responsible for the majority of those deaths, U.S. intelligence effectively ignored the place that was his recruitment hotbed. The U.S. attitude remained, hear, see, and speak no evil.
Even though there had been the bombings in 95, 96, 98, 2000, all involving Saudis, no one asked for a national intelligence estimate if Saudi Arabia is a new terrorist state.
Is it fair to say financial and political interests in one way or other led to 9/11, Afghanistan, and Iraq?
Absolutely. Financial interests were predominant in Washington. They led to a turning a blind eye to what was happening in Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan and contributed to 9/11. But it doesn't have to be a conspiracy. This is where people will nail you if you say it's a conspiracy. It's not. It's a conspiracy of silence. We're just not going to talk about it.
Cairo, 1984. The Egyptian army dismisses Major Ali Mohammed from the military, and despite his reputation as a dangerous radical, he gets a job as a security advisor with the national airline, Egypt Air. Later that same year, Mohammed appears at the U.S. Embassy in Cairo, where he offers his services as an informant. CIA officials in Cairo are skeptical, and the Egyptians warn them that Ali Mohammed is a radical Muslim. Nevertheless, the Cairo office lets its counterparts around the world know that Ali Mohammed is available for assignments. A response comes back from the CIA in West Germany that it could use a man like Ali. Mohammed now undertakes a mission for the CIA. His assignment is to infiltrate a mosque in Hamburg that has ties to Hezbollah. But Mohammed quickly reveals himself.
Ali goes in and over the course of a week he lets it be known to the people in the mosque that he's actually been sent there at the behest of the agency.
CIA officials quickly discover that Mohammed has betrayed them. The agency declares it has terminated its relationship with him. The U.S. State Department also adds Mohammed's name to a watch list as a suspected terrorist. Even though Mohammed's name is on a watch list, the State Department issues him a visa. One news report later says that Mohammed got past the watch list with CIA help. August the 15th, 1986. Ali Mohammed shows up at this army recruiting office in Oakland, California. He says he wants to enlist. Although the Egyptian military expelled him for his radical beliefs, and although the U.S. State Department has him on a watch list, the U.S. Army accepts him.
My name is Ali Mohammed. I'm a former Egyptian officer.